get no sleep on each other, carry teasing all day, and when the sun sets, you asking me to come through, kick it with you. Night turn to morning dew. Then you feel it rushing in, lose control. You don't wanna go slow, for sure.
Right.
We both already know your place is my place. No, my place is your place. Let's face it, baby. You know all the places. My place is your place. My place, your place, my place. Just face it.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Thank you for all of you that joined on tonight. You see the topic. Ladies, are you worth the risk the way you are today as a modern woman, or is it too late for us? I'm going to clarify exactly what that means, exactly what I'm saying in that talking point. Again, ladies, are you worth the risk the way you are today, as opposed to the old woman that has successful outcomes? Are you worth the risk that you are today as a modern woman? Or is it too late for all of us? Is it too late for us? For those of us that want you, are you too far gone? I'll tell you something, that's a good question, because the stats and the statistics and the data does not lie. The success rate among relationships are not good. A lot of people are getting together, for sure. That's true. We can't deny that. A lot of people are getting together. Well, they're getting together at what quality level? Are they getting together? Yeah, of course they're getting together. As long as there's a male and a female on the planet, you're going to find them getting together, because God just set it up that way, that the male and the female are attracted to one another. So you're going to find your way to each other. But what will you find after you find each other is the bigger question. You know, are you worth the risk today? This modern woman, are you worth the risk? Or is it too late? Because more often than not, a lot of our women today have adopted a mentality that feeds to the media and what the media dictates. And what the media dictates, and what social media dictates, and what movies dictate, and what celebrity females dictate, as opposed to what's attracted to men. I'm going to tell you, most of what you ladies do, and I'm going to tell you most, I've talked to too many men. I'm not talking about boys. I talk to a lot of men. And I'm going to tell you that most men that I've talked to, they're not attracted to what you think they're attracted to. But you're listening to the wrong voices. The voices that tell you that if you dress this way, it's attractive and a man will like it. Most of the women that give you that advice, they don't have a man in the first place. So you're getting misinformation. How you wear your hair. You're getting that information usually from another female who never asked the man how he likes a woman to have her hair. So you're getting the misinformation again. Whether he likes you wearing makeup. You never asked a man, as to whether he even likes makeup. You just assume that he did. And you learned this information from another woman who probably never asked the man what he wanted anyway and what he liked in regards to makeup. See, the assumption is everything. And we learned what the term assumption means. As we were growing up, we learned that assumption, if you assume anything, you make a what? You make the 3 letters out of that word of yourself. And we know what that word means. So anytime you go on something that you have no information on, you make a fool out of yourself. And you end up going along kind of like getting along. You go along with what the normal trend is. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, you want the results that you want. Because the same people you know today won't be around tomorrow. I promise you that. And any of you that have been to high school or college, you know right now, there's people that you can't even get in touch with right now. That you were close to, that you can't even get in touch with them. You don't know their number, you don't even know where they live. And these were people that you think about periodically on a continual basis. And you wish that you could find out where they were. It's funny how life has a way of playing that narrative. Life goes on. So the people that you knew that you did the most to impress, they're gone. And you can't find them today. So now who are you trying to impress? And you'll be hard pressed to answer that question because you really don't quite know. If you were to try to attempt to answer that question, you'll probably say, I'm answering it because of what I've been told and what I've been taught. Social media, the society in and of itself, has programmed a lot of our women to believe what they're doing, how they're carrying themselves, is exactly what men want. Now I'll hear this. Some women will say, well, I'm carrying myself the way I want to carry myself. I'm not carrying myself because I'm trying to carry myself to impress a man. All right? Well, I mean, I know that's a disingenuous statement because male and female are on the planet, and we only do two things in our whole life from the time that we're born and we come into realization that the opposite sex is something that we should be attracted to. Even little kids, when they're little, as little boys and girls, they find themselves attracted to one another on the playground. Okay, so that's a disingenuous statement. Because everything a man and a woman does throughout the time, from the time that they're born to the time that they leave this earth, is always to attract the opposite sex, unless you're not trying to attract the opposite sex. And for that, I hold no judgment. But if you are trying to attract the opposite sex, I will tell you this: everything you do needs to be thought out very carefully and needs to be thought out with precision as to whether the men that you say you want is going to be attracted to you. I know you're thinking to yourself right now, well, I have my own mind. Why should I be in the mirror looking at myself in the mirror worrying about what some other man is attracted to? Well, that's your problem. That's probably your problem. You've never given too much consideration to the idea of what a man wants, including probably the man you have. And that's going to be your downfall going forward into the future. That's why many relationships simply just don't last. The laziness of thought and the laziness of activity is what always lends the negative to what the outcomes are in every relationship. Do you intend to get the outcomes that you want? Ladies, are you worth the risk? Are you even worth the risk? Are you even worth the risk today for who you've become today? And is it too late for us to tell you what we want and you'll actually listen without getting in your feelings, without getting in your emotions, without getting all fluffed up and puffed up, okay? Without throwing out pejoratives, without throwing out sign language, which is shame, insult, guilt, and the need to be right, without doing any of those things, can you just actually sit still, be quiet, and listen? Can you do that? Because men have a talking point. We do have something to say. And have you ever concerned yourself at what men had to say? Or has it always been just simply about you? I think that's kind of selfish, don't you think? If it's always been about what you want, and the end of that story is about what a man can do for you, what he can do for you today, tomorrow, next week, next year, and for all the years to come, what he can do for you. Now the thing is, what have you done for him? Or does that even concern you? Does that concern you? Does it concern you? Because see, I'm going to tell you something. Men are very simple. You've heard me say this in previous streams. Men are very simple. We are very simple. And I don't mean simple, stupid. I mean we're just simple in terms of what we desire. We don't have a whole lot to ask for, and what we do ask for, even though it's small in amount, it seems to be the hardest thing to get from you ladies. And this is what we're asking for. You want me to outline that? I'm going to tell you. Fit. You heard me do this many times on different streams. Fit. Feminine. Cooperative. Submissive. I know you don't like that word. Submissive just simply means agreement. In agreement. Easy to get along with. I mean easy to get along with. To where you create a utopia of peace just to be in your presence. How many women do that? How many women can provide that option? Not too many. But this is what we ask for. It's not that much. It's not a lot to ask for. Especially at the end of the day when you're asking for the man to go out and kill the wolf and tackle the bear and bring the meat home to you. Think about it. Think about it. Is that a whole lot to ask? Especially when what you're asking for is a lot bigger than that. You're asking for, if he has the resources, you're asking for him to pay for everything. True? And I'm a firm believer. I will tell you this. I'm a firm believer in a man paying for everything if he has the resources and the means to do so. And if he doesn't, and this is for the men that's going to watch this stream later, you better be about your business, and you better be willing and desirous of paying everything. Men lead with their wallet. I'm gonna say that again. Bums lead with their excuses. And I'm talking to every man that watches this stream, and I'm gonna leave it right there. Now back to you, sister. Back to you. Are you worth the risk? Are you worth the risk of what you've become today? And is it too late for us? Because the men you think you want or say you want, that you define in your list, are you qualified to get those same men? Are you qualified to get those same men? Because what we deal with in most cases, women as a whole, in a lot of cases, but I'm going to speak in particular black women. Black women have been like the clay that's molded by the molder. At what point does clay become impossible to mold? I want you to think about that just for a second. Any of you that have been in high school and you had these classes or these electives where you worked with clay, at what point does clay become impossible to mold? There's a period when it's very possible, and then there's a point where it's impossible to mold. Have you become the clay that's impossible to mold? But clay becomes impossible to mold once it dries and hardens. Usually what that means is that the clay is set in its own way. Are you set in your own way? And are you worth the risk after you're set that no black man can tell you anything, that you'll actually listen to, that you'll feel duty bound to listen to? Is that where you've come to? Is that what you've become today? Has the main influence about your whole psychology on pathology become videos? Has it become movies? Has it become actresses? Has it become people that you can't qualify to be? Has it become that? Is that who you're patterning yourself after? Is that how you're carrying yourself to look like, to be like, to act like? What have you become? And are you now worth the risk? Are you worth the risk of who you've become today, this modern woman? And is it too late for us? That's a question only you can answer yourself. I will tell you this. Your decision is paramount in what happens going forward. Every decision as it relates to you personally is yours. Like I've said in previous streams, men determine relationships and marriage. Men determine that. You determine access to your body, and you determine childbirth. Well, we can look in our own community and see there's a whole lot of childbirth going on, right? And we can look in our community and see there's a whole lot of access to bodies being taking place, correct? Okay, but we don't see a whole lot of relationships, and we certainly don't see a whole lot of marriages. We don't see that. We don't even see people staying together for any long, significant amount of time. We don't see that either. So if men control access to relationships and marriage, and you, ladies, control access to your body and childbirth, then I want you to tell me, how is it that you expect better outcomes with the attitude and the behavior and the thought process and how you carry yourself, never once caring whether the men that you say you want or the men that you already have, does he like everything you do, everything you say, every attitude you display, every way that you carry yourself? Did it even was it even important enough to you to ask him, was he okay with it? Does he like it? If not, be single. If you don't care, be single. Women outnumber men 15 to 1, and that number may be bigger than what I just said. You'll move on and find somebody else. If it's not important to you, then why are you with anybody? Just go be by yourself. Go get a dog. Be by yourself. If you don't care about what the men you want or the men you already have desire or find attractive, and you're in the assumption mode of assuming that what he wants is how you're carrying yourself, or what you see on the news, or what you see in the media, or what you see in videos, or what you see actresses doing, or what you see a video vixen doing, you're delusional. You're delusional. And it shows clearly that you really don't care what he wants. I want you to try an experiment, ladies, who watch the stream now or watch it later. I want you to try an experiment with the man you already have or the man you wish to have. Try an experiment. Ask him every time you're about to do something, be it how you carry yourself, how you dress, how you wear your hair, and everything that you do in terms of what he sees. And again, like I said in previous streams, men are visual. We are visual. We're visual. What we see is what either attracts us, distracts us, or turns us completely away. I'm going to say that again. What we see is what attracts us, distracts us, or turns us away. You got to find out where you fit into those three things I just said. Don't assume that how you're carrying yourself, how you're acting, how you're talking is okay with him. You might be missing the boat and don't even know it. If you don't care, like I said before, if you don't care, then go ahead and be by yourself. If it's not important to you, then be by yourself. Be by yourself. Women outnumber men, again, I gotta say it, 11 to 1, 15 to 1. He will, and I stress, he will find someone else. But if you don't care about him finding someone else, then just keep going doing what you're doing, ladies. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep having the attitudes you have. Keep being mean. Keep being dysfunctional. Keep being combative. Keep being argumentative. Keep talking over your man when he talks. Keep being disrespectful. Just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, if it's working for you, keep doing it. I beg to differ. I see that it's not working for you. That's what I see. It's not working for you. I don't see any real meaningful relationships in the communities where we live. I don't see it. I see it in Becky's community though. I see it in Jasmine's community. I see it in Gabrielle's community. I see it in Marisol's community. I don't see it in Latoya's community. I don't see it in Shaniqua's community. I don't see it in Diane's community. I see a lot of sex, and I see a lot of single parenting, and I see a lot of dysfunctional relationships, and I see a lot of single parents. That's what I see. And also, in addition to that, I see a whole lot of attitude and behaviors that would push and drive any man away, no matter who he is. No matter who he is, there's no way he would stay. Are you worth the risk, ladies? Are you worth the risk today, as the modern woman that you'd like to call yourself? Are you worth the risk as you are today? Or is it too late for us? Because I'll tell you something, 85% of the men that's in the communities where you live, they want you, but you don't seem to want us. You don't seem to want us. 85% of the men in your communities where you live, they want you. They're interested in you, but you're not paying them any attention. You're too busy watching videos. You're too busy watching OnlyFans. You're too busy watching TikTok. You're too busy watching Instagram. You're too busy watching these social media platforms and listening to the viewpoints of women who are probably more than likely single. And maybe they have more money, and in most cases they have more options than you as the viewer. You're watching women that have more options financially. They have access to more means than you do. And you're listening to them and you're taking that advice. But guess what? That same advice that they give, the same dysfunction that you'll watch a Jada Pinkett do with Will Smith, you don't have that privilege. You could never get away with doing what she's doing. Never. You could never get away with doing what Gabrielle Union's doing with Dwayne Wade. Never. You could never get away with doing you could never get away with doing what I forget his name, the brother that plays basketball, him and his wife, they're going through something. I know you're filling in the blanks for me right now as you watch, but you know what I'm talking about. You could never get away with that. You can never get away with a lot of the things that you watch in social media and what you watch on the internet with these women who are wealthy but yet dysfunctional. They probably should have been left where they were. They weren't wives and they certainly weren't girlfriends, but they fell into a situation where they found themselves privileged and yet they carried with them the luggage of dysfunction. They weren't girlfriends and they certainly weren't wives. They didn't have the characteristics nor the personalities. They weren't cooperative, they weren't submissive, they weren't non-combative, and they certainly weren't willing to give in and serve their husband. No. They came in looking for what you guys like to call today as the bag. The only thing that with the bag that you should be paying attention to is how much baggage you have. And I had a young lady sent me a text earlier today based on my streams, and she said, it seems as though, and I'm paraphrasing her, she said that what you're saying kind of like comes across, at least in how I interpreted what she said. She said it comes across like you're woman bashing. You're coming short of woman bashing. And you know, I find it very interesting that when a black man makes a point of what it is that he wants, or what he desires, or what he finds attractive in the woman that he intends to stay with. I didn't say sleep with. I said stay with. No, I gotta say it again. I didn't say sleep with. I said stay with. The man that decides to stay with the female he's with and go through the trials and tribulations, the ups, the downs, the bitter, the sweet, over time, that's going to take a special kind of woman. Special kind. And what you watch in the media, those are not those women. Because if they were, they would never do that to their husband. They would never humiliate their husband in the public. All right? They would never, ever emasculate their husband in the public eye. They would never do that. Wives simply do not do that, ladies. I know you want a man, but are you a wife? It says that he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. Are you a good thing? That's the question. And for you ladies who think I'm women bashing, alright. Watch my replays, and then you'll come out of your delusion. But if it says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, are you a good thing? Are you worth the risk? As a modern woman, and how you think, and how you believe the things that you do, and how you carry yourself is attracted to a man that you want. Or did you even ever ask him what he wanted, or what he found attractive? Did you ever ask him that? Maybe you don't care. And is it too late for us? And what I mean by is it too late for us, and why is that important? Because if I'm asking why is it too late for us, why that makes that statement important is it at a point where these conversations can be had but you reject them? Is it at the point that these conversations can be had and you find ways to pick the statement apart to where you don't want to find a reason to believe what you're hearing, but you want to find a reason to reject what you're hearing? Are you listening actively, or are you listening to simply respond? And maybe you're not listening to respond in words, but you're listening to respond in thought. Are you worth the risk? Are you even worth the risk going forward? Or should men just bail out now while the getting's good? Are you worth the risk? Being the modern woman that you're allowing yourself to become through social media, through what you see visually with your eyes on television and movies. Do you think that is defining who you are and what men want? Or have you ever concerned yourself enough to ask men what they want? That's a question, man. That's a question. That's a question. Does it concern you enough to ask? Do you care? And going forward at the end of the day, after you get past what I love to call hot girl summer, and what many men in this manosphere loves to describe as hot girl summer, hot girl summer just simply means those young years, those young years when things look sweet. You can't wait for the summer to come. The sun is out, it's bright, it's nice outside, and you get to go to the beach. You're walking, holding hands, eating cotton candy, ice cream cones, or whatever, but you're not thinking, you're not marriage minded. You're not thinking about long term. You've never even contemplated the conversation in your mind about long term. If you have, for some of you, then that's very unique. But I will tell you this, in most part, it's not. That's not the reality. That's not the reality. And what's more important going forward is who you end up with at the end of your life. At the end of your life. Not right now, in the prime of your life. It's important to think about it now, but it's important to plan for it so that later you end up with someone. And I'm pretty sure you all that's listening know many people who are by themselves. I'm not talking about the ones that were married and their wife passed away. I'm not talking about them. And my condolences to anyone who's had that experience. I'm not talking about those that have had husbands who passed away early. And again, my condolences goes out to them. If that's you and you're listening, my true condolences goes out to you. But I will say this, I'm talking about those who have never cared enough about what it was like to get to the end of life and be by themselves, and find themselves now coming into the realization that they've wasted all that time while they were in their best years, just wasting it, excluding all the opportunities that they had. I've said in other streams, I said, the man of your life was in your friend zone. The man of your life, the man of your dreams is sitting in your friend zone right now. He's the young guy who you thought was weird. He's the guy you thought was awkward. He's the guy you thought, he didn't have that swag, the thing that attracted you. that got you bad results. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, the one that's always impressed with the swag thing, you know. But the guy that don't have the swag and he's just like this, you ain't attracted to him. That was the man of your dreams. That's the one that would have changed your whole life. Swaggy is usually shaggy. So you like Pookie, you like Nug Nug, you like Tim Tim. That's why your results are what they are. Don't get mad at men because your outcomes become dishonorable. Your outcomes are not favorable to what you wanted to happen. You know, just be quiet. Just realize what you did and your decision that you made. You picked Pookie, you picked Nug Nug, and you picked Tim Tim. Be quiet. Don't get mad, get better. Just get better. Don't get mad at me, and don't get mad at anybody else that has a talking point like this, like you heard me say in my previous stream. Don't get mad. These talking points are not going to go anywhere, and your consequences for your decisions are not going to change unless you change. That's it. I'll be dead and gone, and these consequences will still be here for you if you don't change. These decisions are your decisions. Again, we determine as men relationships and marriage. You determine access to your body and childbirth. I gotta keep saying that. And you know why? Because the simplest definition of a thing always becomes the most complex thing to explain. You ladies find it so hard to understand that. You really think you have the options to decide what happens and what happens next, but you don't. If a man does not pick you, you are not picked. You are not picked. If he don't pick you, you're not picked. It's just that simple. You don't determine relationships, and you certainly don't determine marriage. You determine access to your body and sex and childbirth. That's what you determine. That's it. I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's the truth. If you don't believe me, look around your own personal community. Look at where you live. Look at the outcomes that took place in your own family. Look at it. Those that chose to lead with sex, those that chose to lead with their body, ended up not getting the other alternative. What is the other option? The other option is relationships and marriage. Period. I'm not telling you something that hasn't been in place for thousands of years. I'm telling you this is the reality of life. Thousands and thousands of years. Men have the access and the opportunity and the choice of choosing relationships and marriage. You have the choice and the power of choosing access to your body and childbirth. Now, with that being said, what are you choosing? And who you have become today in modern society, with listening to everything that you've watched, with listening to everything that you see on the media and in videos, are you even worth the risk? Are you worth the risk with who you've become today in modern society? Are you even capable of being a wife? Are you even capable of seeing your man as someone that's important, an important asset in your life? Someone who you are willing to live out your life and happily serve. Ooh, I know that triggered a whole bunch of you feminist sisters. I know that just triggered you like a hair trigger 9mm. Oh, the bullets is flying in your mind right now because the idea of serving a man. What? Serving a man? I ain't serving no man. I see your neck popping all over the place. I ain't serving no man. You ain't serving yourself either because your outcomes are terrible. Okay? They're terrible. Oh, you got a career. Yeah, you got that. You have a good career and you have a degree. You got, like I said earlier, you have, in my earlier streams, you have more diplomas and degrees than a thermometer. So what? And you got a dog. But your outcomes remain the same. Your outcomes remain the same. 1, again, out of 4 will die alone. The question is, will it be you? Are you worth the risk? For men that have means, for men that have the mind of marriage, for men that want a woman who's fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, easy to get along with, pleasant, does not overtalk him. You don't have to take a toe temperature every time you walk into the door to see what kind of mood you're going to be on. No man wants to deal with that. No man wants to gauge their day and worrying about what kind of mood you're going to be on. No, they do not. The same way you want men to get their stuff together, ladies, get your stuff together. Get your stuff together. The same way you want men to get their act together, get your act together. Because your acting skills have not gotten you an Oscar. Your acting skills have not gotten you the results that you asked for, that you wanted. But you keep telling men to get their act together. No, get your act together. Get your act together. So that you can get the results that you said you wanted. Otherwise, be quiet. And stop asking for results that you know you're not qualified to get. If you don't want the man that you say you want, and you're not willing to qualify for it, like I mentioned in earlier streams, if you want to go to Harvard University, or if you want to get a particular job or career, you go through all the motions of qualifying for that job, but you don't think it's important to qualify for the man that you want. That's a little contradictory, don't you think? And it makes no sense at all. So what do you really want? What do you really want? You want to keep talking about what you want? Or you want to actually do something about the thing you said you want? Because we're waiting. We're waiting. Men want to do something. Men want you. But they're curious and they're worried about, are you worth the risk of what you've become today in modern society? What do you actually reflect? What do you look like? Do you look like Sweetie? Do you look like Megan Thee Stallion? Do you look like Cardi B? Or do you look like a wife? What do you look like? Look in the mirror at yourself sometime. Pay attention. Do you look as a reflection of everything you see in the videos? Or do you look like an actual wife? Pay attention. What are you trying to mimic? And have you asked the man that you want and the man that you have is even attracted to that? Now, he might be attracted to some extent. You know why? Because he has no choice, because that's all he sees. Give him something else to look at that's different than what he sees, and you'll get better results. This is going to be a short stream tonight. I want you guys to get settled into your vacation week. It's been a long week for you guys. You got 3 days out. I want you to enjoy the rest of that week. So unlike normal streams, this is the shortest one. Thank you for all of you that jumped on the stream. I appreciate you. I hope that you got something out of it as usual. Until the next stream, I'll see you Monday. I'll see you Monday. Happy 4th of July. Independence Day. I just don't want you to be that independent, lady. I want you to be independent of you yourself, so that you can be now able to open your arms and open your heart and your mind to a man that you say you want. All right? With that being said, I'm Charles Chambers. This is Let's Talk About It. Until next stream, happy holiday.